Man, I can't even begin to explain what I just woke up to. I guess the best way to put it was I woke up to an episode of Jerry Springer right outside my house here. So my dad wakes me up, right? And my dad's home care nurse, Kaisha, walks into the house and she's mad. Yep, strike of the crazy next door neighbor again. So I'm like, okay. I go outside, Kai's like, come out here and look. I ain't do nothing to her car, blah, 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 blah. Case is, apparently Kai backed into her car and she wanted her information. And Kai was like, no. And she was like, I'm calling the police. And she was like, call the popos. So we go out there and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, give or take, there may have been a few scratches, but not even deep scratches, like abrasion scratches, like stuff you can rub off with your finger. And I'm just looking at her and I'm looking at Kai. Kai just going on, I didn't do nothing. I'm like, Kai, calm down. I'm like, is there any way we can relieve the situation? She's like, I just wanted her information. This is the neighbor. And I'm like, okay, well, Kai, just take pictures, give her your information, and call it a day. If she called the cops, it's not like they're going to come here and see anything. There's nothing here. So I go back in the house, and my mama come in here. She trying to go out. I'm like, Mom, don't go out there. It's really no point. And I'm just telling my dad, like, there's really no point in her to get all riled and rowdy. Like, I don't even know why the heck Toya is making a big deal by calling the cops. So I go back out there, and the cop actually showed up. I'm like, oh, wow. But the funny thing is, the cop looks so dang on mad. Like, are you serious? Did you really call me out here for this? I could be out here solving a freaking murder, but I'm sitting up here dealing with this bull crap. So, the cop is like, ma'am, what is this? Well, she hit my car, and I explained to Kyle that I had to turn this car back in April. Which she did. She told me that, but I'm like, Toy, there's nothing wrong with the car. What is your issue? The cop even said it. Yeah, I'm not about to file a report for this. This is ridiculous. Ma'am, there's no damages here. Even if you were to take it to the dealer to turn it back in for release, they're not going to charge you for anything for a few scratches. It's a wax job. You could buy the wax yourself and rub it out. There's no problem here. I'm leaving. Now, you're gonna fizz this. I want to talk to your sergeant. No, you're not talking to my sergeant. Get out of here. And she's sitting up here mouthing off talking about, well, there's damages and I'm just going to tell you, and you're making this into a big deal and it actually is. Like, no, Heffler, you the one that's making it into a big deal. You the one that called the cops for something that's not that serious. Then on top of that, you got Kyle screaming and yelling and cussing when you got a baby involved on top of that because my nephew was outside, which I thought was really ridiculous. Then on top of that, I'm just looking at her and I'm like, you crazy. You really crazy. And the part that really killed me most of all was I go outside and there's no damages to her car whatsoever, right? But I just so happen to look at my yard and we have a row of boulders sitting out front of the house. And at the berm, there's this one boulder that was pushed over and the grass is pushed up. And I'm like, that wasn't like that before. Now, mind you, she had a moving truck out there this past weekend, and I guess the movers must have backed out and pushed the rock over and damaged our yard. Now, we could have sat up here and did the same thing. We could have called the cops on her. Like, no, we want to sit up here and we want you to pay for the damages. We want you to fix the yard. Nah. See this face? Really? Ain't nobody got time for that. Most we're going to do is end up calling the moving company, have them pay for it. But you didn't even have the audacity, even you knew that happened, and you didn't call us, you didn't do nothing, but you worried about somebody tapping your car. Yeah, she backed into it and tapped it, but that was her hitting her car. Man, and I don't have time, but it was so hilarious. So she out there just running off at the mouth, and Kai just like, okay, whatever, just keep talking. And when she was like, it's a free country, I can say whatever I want, and that's okay. I'm just gonna end up having you pay for the damages when I take it up to the dealership anyway. And Kai was just like, bye, Felicia. When I say I walked in the house and I died laughing, this shit was so damn funny. Anyway, so yes, I had a really great morning. So just wanted to share that with y'all.